left versus right is being used as a distraction to take your attention away from the real things that are happening. And what people don't realize right now is that we are under undeclared martial law. It's not being called that, but that's the name of the game that they're playing right now. They do one thing and they call it another. They say, no, we're not doing that, but they're doing exactly that. They say, and I remember we heard this back in March, it was a headline from a Republican congressman or senator, I don't remember who it was, but he said, it was a headline, it said, we are not going to have martial law. Martial law ain't happening. Yet here we are. And what are we under right now? Where mandates have taken control of our system, basically. So instead of being governed by the Constitution, which is how our government is designed to work, we are being put on pause. The country is being put on pause, and it's instead being governed by mandates and executive orders, many of which are completely unconstitutional. So the thing we need to think about right now is what are the real issues going on that are not being addressed. Not, oh, we need Biden to win, oh, we need Trump to win. There are going to be different sets of circumstances that happen if one of those candidates is elected versus another one of those candidates. However, there's going to be many things that are going to stay exactly the same because they've got everybody's attention over here while they're doing something over here. Just like they did with the virus, which has now come out that it was actually, for all the data, that if you look at it closely, a hoax. The virus has been a hoax. And now, does that mean that it's not a virus and it doesn't exist? No, the virus exists. However, the numbers that they use to destroy the American economy, destroy the world economy, sink us into a depression and bring us to the brink of civil war, those numbers have come out. It's on the CDC website. This is not a theory. The numbers were fraudulent. 94% of the deaths from COVID-19, it has now come out, 94% of those deaths were not COVID-19 deaths. The deaths were caused by other things because these people had comorbidities. They had on average 2.6 comorbidities, which means they had a combination of other health risk factors, and they were elderly people. So you're talking about people who had cancer already, they had heart disease, and maybe they even had diabetes. On average, 2.6 comorbidities, meaning other things that could already kill them. So 94% of the deaths were of people who had, on average, 2.6 comorbidities. So that's what they did with the thing. They say, look over here, and then they're running a scam on the other end. So that's the same thing that has happened with, oh, martial law ain't happening. Yet we are under undeclared martial law, where instead of being in a constitutional democracy, which is the way the country was designed to function, we are basically moving toward a communist system with universal basic income, and also a system that is governed by mandates and random executive orders and tyrannical policies, as opposed to something that actually is governed by constitutional principles based on individual liberty and civil liberties, which our ancestors fought, bled, and died for us to be able to have. And now we are acting as if that never happened, and that everyone's bad, and that everyone's racist, and that we should just tear the whole country down. So we have to realize how ridiculous, how wrong the conversation that's being had is, right? Because if we don't identify the correct conversation points, then we're never going to be able to fix the issues. Do we have issues? Of course, we have issues as a country, but to fix them, we can't play along with the gaslighting that's going on right now, act like they're not happening, and then ignore them and hope things are going to get better. So again, left versus right is a big old distraction because it's taking people's attention away from the real issues, which is that Democrat politicians are enforcing tyrannical orders. Republican politicians are enforcing tyrannical orders. It is not about left or right. It's about getting back to the constitutional principles that this country was founded upon if we want to have any hope for a future for ourselves and for our kids, because the way we're headed right now, universal basic income, people say, oh, Trump is going to save the country. Oh, is he? Well, the lockdown happened under Trump. The mask mandates, which have no science behind them, happened under Trump. All of this stuff happened under his watch. And there's the argument, oh, he's playing 3D chess, he's 5 steps ahead. That's possible, but until I see evidence of that and see evidence that he actually means what he says when he says that it's America first and he has the Constitution in mind, until I see evidence of that, then to me it's all talk, because he says the Democrats are bad and that they did all this, yet all of these things happen under his watch. So again, these are things that need to be thought about. Does this mean I support or don't support him? No, because I need to see action. We all need to see action before we can decide where we go from here. And we need to stop saying, oh, the politicians are going to fix everything. Oh, the left is going to fix everything. Oh, the right is going to fix everything. No, it goes back to that phrase from John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And if we go back to that type of approach to our lives and our country, and having a concern for the future and actually the present, then we can actually get somewhere. But the path we're going down now is, oh, blame the Democrats, oh, blame the Republicans, when they're both doing nonsensical things, when they're both taking us down a path towards universal basic income, towards socialism, which eventually will end in communism, tearing down statues, tearing down monuments. And that's even another issue, but that's part of what happens when we forget where we came from, forget our history. It's part of eroding the values that a country was founded upon and moving it towards a direction that has no identity, so that the identity can be reconstructed as a socialist and then communist society. So we need to look at history. You look at the Bolshevik Revolution, look at what happened in China, look at what happened in Latin America, how communism comes in and subverts the current power structure, takes away the middle class, redistributes the wealth to the 0.01%, the tiniest percent, the elite, which is already happening now. The technocratic elite is taking all the wealth from the middle class who aren't allowed to work and are out of jobs, and many of the tech companies have made more money during the pandemic than they made in the previous quarter, that they made last year in the same quarter. So they're astronomical profits during the pandemic, while people are literally wondering where their next meal is going to come from to pay for their family. And they had a thriving business before, and now they don't. And now they're being told that the lockdown's just going to go on forever. So we have a choice here. We have a choice, and we have to decide what we as individuals need to do and can do to bring us back from the brink of basically extinction as a free nation.